tonight's episode, photo finish.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Welcome, everybody, to our Sunday wrap-up, where we attempt to cross the streams between two of the big platforms out there, where you may not realize this, people don't jump across that line very much. Some people do, but some people tend to stay on one side of this or the other. And that line is in the social medias, and it's Instagrams, and it's YouTubes. You know what? I'm going to start out the week a little bit doing something a little bit different. Have you ever heard of a visualization? There's a pretty interesting channel out there. How big is YouTube versus Instagram? There's some interesting channels that take data and visualize them so that you can get an idea how big the two are. So I'm going to see if there's something out there that, oh, you know what I'm going to type in there? Visualization. If I spell it right, might even show up. Maybe I'm not going to be able to find it that fast, but there's some pretty interesting ones where they show you the scale. So I'm going to go to this one. So according to this, what year are we in? Can't even tell because there's Facebook growing. Oh, it's 2012. So we're going to take this back to the beginning. And it starts in 2012. That's when Instagram starts. Twitter is down here. YouTube had some issues with Facebook wailing on it in 2012. And that's when the end here of 2012, with that massive growth in Facebook and the drop in YouTube, that's when they started G+. And that's when it got really weird on YouTube. Facebook up and down fluctuates all over the place because how bad it sucks. Somewhere around there, they buy Instagram. And then Instagram starts to get more interesting. YouTube's super fluctuating. This is actually pretty shitty because this is a monthly thing. It's never good to look at stuff monthly. We haven't even left 2012 yet. Come on, seriously? So we're going to skip ahead. And now we can see YouTube and Facebook fighting with each other up there. Now look at them both dealing with probably election cycles. Fighting with each other. Where's Instagram? Steadily in the middle. Your other lesser platforms are down there being weird. And then Instagram in 2018, everybody just dwarfed by YouTube. That would have been the time to be on YouTube making money. Dang, should have been on YouTube making money. 2018, there's 20, oh, see, are these election cycles or what? Facebook, dying. Facebook, totally dying. Instagram coming back, Facebook dying, YouTube wailing on everybody, Instagram coming up, Instagram, who's going to win? Who's going to win? This is the part that's most often watched. You see down here at the bottom of the screen, there's these little hovery things, these little like mountains that are on the timeline. That's how often people watch this portion. So this was the most often watched portion right here. Of 18. So I don't know what happened in 18 there, but everything went offline there for a little bit in 18. And then never does Twitter ever make any difference, ever. And then even with all the Twitter commotion, never makes any difference to anybody ever. Instagram steadily, exceeding everybody. Maybe Facebook once in a while, whales on Instagram. And then what's this little guy? TikTok. Oh, TikTok. The Chinese start to jump in here at the end. This is 2019. We're going to get to another part where, look at YouTube. Like, YouTube's volatile, but it's massive. So that's when more and more things are using YouTube, and YouTube's just incorporating it all. There's Instagram starting to fail when in 2020. It's interesting. I would have thought Instagram did better in 2020. Then it slows down. Why did they slow it down? Weird. So now you get into the 20s, the end of 20. We get into, oh, come on. So that was a pretty shitty visualization. There's better ones, but I think it gives you some idea of the scale, the difference. So we're doing this on YouTube. We're talking about a little tiny thing called Instagram. Of those little tiny things, Instagram is the easiest to use. It's fast. That's usually the thing I talk about. And the people that use it are pretty cool. So some of the platforms would be okay, but all the people that use them are weird or somehow goofy or weird or whatever, and there's no reason to hang out with them. Instagram's got a pretty good mix, just like YouTube, pretty good mix, right? So, hopefully we'll see more opportunity for different platforms. But till then, these are two of the big ones. As you can see on that visualization thing we were looking at there, all the other platforms are tiny compared to YouTube. So here we go, bringing Instagram over to YouTube again. Do I count? I don't think somewhere I think I used to number these, but we've been doing this for quite a few weeks now. The goal is to take a look at the people over on Instagram and the content that they've created over there. Do it over here on YouTube once a week on the regular so that it can be picked up as a video. And I post this around to guntube.org, which is built by gun owners for gun owners. It's hosted in South Carolina by Mike, real people that you know, who's been part of the community for a long time now. Guntube.org gets posted on often. I try not to overwhelm the servers by posting everything I do over there. But then UGETube, Utah Gun Exchange, I've met the owner of that place. Seems like a good dude. I post as much as I can over there. I actually get some feedback and some views over there, so you might want to check it out. It's a First Amendment platform, so there are guns there, but there's a lot of other weird stuff there too. Then you got Gun Streamer. We used to know the people that ran that place. It's been around almost as long as guntube.org. And Gun Streamer, we don't know who runs it anymore, but they seem to be providing a great place for gun-focused content, so we post as much as we can over there. Certainly this show. Don't get much feedback over there. Don't get much spam, so it's sort of a backup platform at this point. Then we take the audio, and every once in a while when I've got the time, I'll take the audio, strip it from this, and post that on the podcast platforms. So if you're listening in the future or as an audio or something, let us know. Are we on Rumble? Yeah, I am on Rumble. I have an account there, and I do watch some of the stuff on Rumble, but I have issues with the Rumble platform, specifically in the admin portion of it. I'm not observing, right? I'm posting content there, and I want to be able to determine more about my account over there than I can. And until they bring what I would consider a required amount of admin tools to the platform, then they're just playing around. They're never going to get to a professional level. And I'm just talking basic stuff, like being able to monitor and just move your stuff around. All you can do is post stuff there, and it's very on-off switch. It's very tedious. So Rumble I don't have much of a good impression on Rumble. And it's one of those places that people jump to before they paid attention to where they were jumping. And too many people put all their eggs in that basket, and that's frustrating. Kind of same thing with Ultreon or Utreon or whatever. Gizzard's over on the Twitch. Thanks for that. So we've been posting stuff on Twitch, not because we get too much feedback, but Smeggy's been over there trying to get people to use it. I like the idea of putting stuff on a platform that's mostly gaming, because there are some game kids that like to look at gun stuff once in a while, and this gives them an alternative than the typical, let's sell you some crap that you saw in your video games. And then it's also fairly simple to use. So I think regular people might actually like Twitch. It's not super complicated, and it's fairly easy to deal with. But moving on from there, this is a show about Instagram, and not so much our Instagram. Every once in a while we talk about our Instagram, but it's really about the people that post on Instagram that we follow. And that's about what we're going to take a look at here. Before we do, we just want to acknowledge a couple of things. We are doing this live, do almost everything we do here live because we value the interactive nature of the internet. I'm not here. I actually was going to put something this week about a guest host or something. My goal is not to go live so that I can talk all the time. I'm just willing to do it so that it gets done. But I have a lot of ambitions for what could be done on the internet. And instead of waiting around for somebody else to do it, I typically jump in and attempt. Not always successful, but sometimes we are. So with this project, the goal is to share what these people are doing on Instagram. And we're able to do that thanks to our Patreons. So there's a scroll at the bottom of the screen that's saying thanks to the people, the 148 people that make it possible for us to do what we do. They subscribe to our projects on the Patreon system. We consider it our blog, but you can subscribe to us over there. And you're actually subscribing to all of our dozens and dozens of websites that are typically informational. And then the different social work, social media platform work. Sounds a lot more than it is. It's just putting stuff on social media on the daily that's focused on what our Second Amendment protects. And then, of course, amplifying other projects and acting as a consultant and then a coach whenever possible. Again, that's something that's difficult to quantify, but the Patreons, it's easy to say those 148 Patreons are making that possible. They're not footing the bill. It certainly doesn't pay for everything that gets done, but they're making it possible for me to even consider it. Or they have been. I don't get to say that's forever because things change, right? But that being said, thanks to the Patreons that make it possible for us to do this, and thanks to the people that show up live. Again, I appreciate the interactive nature of the internet. If you'd like to be a co-host on one of the shows, let me know. I'm not looking for a permanent co-host. I don't have any way to pay you, and I'm not looking for that kind of obligation. But this is kind of difficult to stay live all the time. It's not my goal either. I'm not a person that likes to jump up on stage. I'm just willing to do it. So if anybody's interested in jumping on once in a while, either because you know what you're doing or you'd like to try it out, I'm not going to be a audition place for some kind of, a new person every week or nothing. But if you are truly interested and you'd like to get your feet wet, I, as well as others, we'd be more than happy to let you have an opportunity. So feel free to contact me, probably over on Patreon. It's the easiest way because otherwise it would be opening up the gates to 169,000 people, and I don't have that kind of time. But if you are interested in being a co-host and you've got some actual reason to do it, then let me know. All right, that being said, thanks to the people that are showing up live. Let's say hey to everybody over there. Mike was the first one to say hey from California. Then we got Texas, jumping up in from Texas, C&T. Want to say you're in Texas, but I guess I don't know. Ron, I also don't know. Gizzard, I believe I do know. He's in a decent-shaped state called Kansas. And then we've got Kingpin, who is in Maryland. Mary's Land, a land that Mary owns but allows Kingpin to hang out in. And then Crab Turtle, who is also in Mary's Land. All right, well, thanks everybody for showing up from all around the corners of the country. Sometimes we have people in from the northwest portion of the country, and other times from the Florida area of the country. So let's dig in. We have a poll going on YouTube, and it's free this week. We have extended our relationship with YouTube, and we've said if you're going to do this, if we're going to be on your platform for another week, you're going to let us do these polls for free. So unlike a lot of the other polls, we got to pay a quarter, sometimes 50 cents to participate. Ours are free, 100% free. Feel free to participate in that poll. Later, we'll go back and see what the people that are viewing live think about this week on Instagram. Was it better than YouTube? Was it as good as YouTube? Was Instagram worse than YouTube? And then a bunch of government agents and people that are sleeping, or they answer that last one. So we're going to head over to Instagram. For those that aren't paying attention to the screen or might be listening to this as a podcast, we've got about a quarter to a third of the screen that I'm wiggling right now, and that's the comments from the people that are watching this thing live. Sorry to move everything around for you there. I should tell you that I'm going to do that before, so you can grab your drinks or whatever. Sorry if I knock anything over. There's a screen back here that I'm kind of hiding that has the poll on it, and we'll be monitoring that poll. Lots and lots of votes over there so far. And then we've got this third screen, which is effectively InstantGrams. Super boring right now because I have it open to some kind of words, but a lot of times Instagram isn't words. Today it's mostly words. So usually Instagram's a lot more image friendly than this. What I'm going to do is zoom in on the Instagram page so that you can see the words even more clearly. Here's what's going on with Instagram. It's designed for your phone because it wants to track you. It's Facebook, after all. It wants to know more about you than you want to tell about it. So it's going to want to be on your phone. And in order to deal with Instagram completely, you need to be on your phone. Elements of it lets us do on our computers because they probably figured out that no one would use it if you only had to use your phone. So what we can do is look at the feed, and then you get that by clicking on the Instagram logo. Almost every platform, you click on the logo and that just gets you the general feed. On Instagram, what I like about it is it's not a general feed, it's your general feed. So I think if I clicked on this, yeah, see, it would show me just my favorites or the people I'm following. So I think I can have favorite friends or something, which I don't do, but this is going to show me just the people I'm following, as opposed to YouTube, which is going to show me desperately anything it thinks I might like. I still like about Instagram is it's going to only show me the stuff that people I follow. So I'm basically looking at my friends and people I'm interested in, what they're putting out there. At some point, once I get past the people who I know that have posted something, you'll get to some line here and it'll go, you've reached the end, and everything else will just be random. We're just going to desperately show you stuff we think you're going to like. You also get these little circles. I don't use them so much, but this is where the girls put their TikToks and they put the little funny things, and there's memes in here. See, like this one here says, no one except Dolly Parton is above the law. I guess that's funny. I don't know. So the circles, they last for 24 hours. So people will put stuff up there. And there's that urgency. Oh, I better go look at their circle. Otherwise, it's going to disappear. I don't play that game. Sometimes I look at the circles, but I don't let Instagram dictate when I'm looking at a circle. The other problem is when you look at a circle, there's nothing you can do about it. Let's go look at another circle. Okay, world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. Okay, that's interesting. Best I can do is give it the little heart thingy. And then I could send it to somebody specifically, but I can't send it to my channel. So that's all I can do is say hey to the person that posted it, and that's creepy and useless for what I'm trying to do, which is to share information that's good. So some people use Instagram as a bleacher seat to watch what's going on. Other people use Instagram as some sort of a shopping cart. And then I try to use Instagram as the soapbox concept, take stuff with my giant platform, or at least bigger than most people's, and put stuff on top of it that's valid, that's good. I put just enough of the garbage in there, the recipe, to keep my channel big, or stay trying to keep it growing, but without desperately doing only the recipe, so that these people that ain't even trying can get some extra space, right? So how do I do that? I find something that's worthwhile. Here's the Bass Reeves Gun Club. I think they're down in Florida. This is one of the gun clubs that make up the NAGA, National African American Gunner Association. So you can click the little heart, and that's like saying, right on, good picture, or in this case, a whole big series of pictures. And then you can put the little bubble, and you can say stuff. And when you say stuff, other people can read it and they can thumb it up, and that's sort of interactive, and it gives some encouragement to the human beings on the other side of the internet. You can take that little paper airplane, and that shoves it into those circles up here. So I can shove stuff into my circles, and then it'll last for 24 hours. So I typically do that on important calls to action, like when we should be calling representatives, or here's a funny thing about a dog, and maybe you should chill out once in a while, that kind of post. But for something like this, I'm not going to send that to my thing because it's just a bunch of dudes going shooting. The last thing, though, is you can click this little, I don't know what this is, a ribbon or chevron looking thing, and you can click on that. And most people only have one collection because they don't use all of Instagram. But if you want, you can create a whole bunch of different folders over here. And when you go to click on this, it's going to go, which folder do you want this in? Now, normally, if I'm just trying to post something, I guess I'll post this. I would click on this, and now you see it says it's added to my saved posts. So that's sort of a rundown of Instagram and an explanation of what we're going to be checking out today. So going back to the top here, this is the Instagram feed. If I click on my own name over here, then you see our feed. So this is the stuff that we've been posting on Instagram. So we've got about 58,000 subs, and that's slowly dropped. I think our top was 76,000 when we were really playing the game. But like anything, if you're not following the recipe, then you're not going to get the same amount of customers. You're not, if you're offering healthy beet biscuits instead of cookies, you're not going to get the same customers. So our feed is over here or whatever. What we're going to be looking at is this saved thing. And look at all these different folders that we just talked about. We're going to be looking at this one specifically. And if you can notice, that last photo that we saved is right there. So you can get it out of there by unclicking it. And now it's, I still like it, but it's not in my pile of files and folders anymore, or pile of saved posts anymore. And that's how you moderate, and that's how you use this portion of Instagram if you choose to. So I use this portion of Instagram. I don't really think anybody is going to Instagram and clicking on this. That's not necessarily why I'm doing it, but I know the logarithm, the mechanisms behind Instagram, they know how often these posts are put into channels, and they know how big those channels are, and blah, blah, blah. It turns into a bunch of numbers. So by cramming stuff into this folder, I'm hopefully helping these channels out. That's the goal. And additionally, so that it's not just wasted effort and time, we go live like this and make a video about it, give everybody an extra attention, give them an extra bit of reach, and then gives me an opportunity to go on and on about the stuff I feel is the most important stuff that we should be paying attention to this week, hopefully inspire people to expect more than be observers of what we're experiencing in 2022. And I'm going to undo this one. If you remember the end of last week, this was an epic song from this little girl, but I don't like having copyrighted stuff in my feed just because of the way the logarithms work. So I'm unclicking that one. It also gave me a good place to catch where we're starting this week. So this is what we're going to be taking a look at this week. We're already 20 minutes in, but I think it's worth taking a moment to explain, you know, what I'm doing here, that I'm not just definitely not doing this for the ratings. So with that, we're going to dig in, starting with that post from last week. I guess starting with Foss's post. I'm going to take a quick look, see if anybody else jumped in since we've been back. Ron is in the mountains in Kentucky. Nice. So where are the mountains of Kentucky? Those would be on the west. The crap, are those the Appalachian Mountains? I've definitely hung out in them. I've never hunted or nothing good in them, though. I've only been in them and driven through them, but I could definitely hang out. Actually, I probably camped there in a camper before, but as a little kid. So I probably blew off M80s in Kentucky, but I've never had any time to just explore. But holy moly, from driving through Kentucky, I could see being in Kentucky. I think Kentucky gets underrated, which is probably okay for the people of Kentucky that aren't probably looking for a lot of people there. Anybody else? I don't know if I missed anybody else who they are. So yeah, I'm just mansplaining. But I like to do it because otherwise we just think of these things as bleacher seats, and they're certainly not bleacher seats. These are bleacher seats with little buttons, and those little buttons make the people that are you're watching jump hard too. You can't even imagine a little bit of effort. I don't even get into it, but yeah, a little bit of effort. Southeastern Appalachian Mountains, right on. Let's see. I think before I have 2 desert tortoises. Oh, nice. That's a whole nother topic. I know some people that have had tortoises here in Arizona. It's like, I say controversial, and, you know, and there's a lot to that, a lot of nuance in the turtle discussions, especially desert and sea turtles, right? All right, next up, the first up is Foss, who does a show every Wednesday called the Mouse Party every other week. So next Saturday, you can expect an overnight, which he does a Second Amendment focused chat in the middle of the night for all the people that are awake overnights. And this is a picture that he picked up from a kid who was selling stuff at a farmer's market. He wanted to support a young artist. Thought that was pretty cool. I think he said he's going to use it for a giveaway or something in the future. But pretty decent thing to put on a wall or an office or something. So this one's from Girl in a Gun Club. no matter how you placed, you beat everyone who didn't have the guts to show up for the match. So just a little way that the girls inspire each other. We're allowed to listen to it too, though, I think. This one is How I Carry. Again, I follow a couple of the different girls that are out there just to see, because they're always complaining about revolvers. You're not allowed to tell them to buy a revolver, even though a revolver is the best option for a girl. So, they're not going to accept that. So you got they think is good, and they think these 9mm Wonder 9s are so good, and they put on these elaborate holsters. So anybody remember how awesome it is to have elaborate holsters? I think that's an era of being a gun owner, but I'm not allowed to mansplain that. Anyway, so yeah, it's awesome to see that these girls are women splaining to each other, girls splaining to each other how to carry so it's comfortable and they're carrying all the time, and doom on the motherfuckers that mess with these ladies. And once that word gets around, we live in a different world. So it's awesome to see that that's happening. And I also put this out knowing that a lot of people, I'm crossing the streams here. So people that are on YouTube are probably eating the same buttered bread every day, and they don't even know what a quesadilla is. So I'm trying to show them that there's other stuff happening on these platforms. And if people tell you that TikTok is worthless, they're not paying attention to the good parts. They're not showing you how inspirational and useful these platforms can be. Speaking of informational and useful, we have the guy from Smith & Wesson, Mark Smith, posted this letter last week. I'm assuming by now that you've already heard about this letter, but it's certainly good to see the amount of reach that the letter got and the amount of attention and respect, and it's a positive. I mean, it's unfortunate that it had to be said. Obviously, the circumstances are not something anybody's interested in creating so that we can have to say something like this. But I think it was well said and stated, and there's probably a little bit that could be said about the nuance, but a very decent focus of it, and just raw enough to get everybody. I think it was a very unifying letter. Like, of all the crap Smith & Wesson gets for the Hillary hole, by me, deservedly, because the Hillary hole is stupid as hell, this goes a long way to redeeming themselves. Although if they also said, and we're getting rid of the Hillary hole at the end of this, you know what I'm saying? Come on, Smith & Wesson, if you're listening to this, get rid of the freaking Hillary hole already. Make a statement. So if, let's say you're going to get married, why wouldn't you want to get married at the Bannerman Castle? That's all I'm saying. Forget the hell what I'm supposed to call him now. Dude who lives there, who went to the castle with me, was just talking about this morning if I'm going to be getting out to East Coast at all. And yeah, I can't wait. Every time I fly the drone around, I think about how cool it's going to be to fly the drone around at the Bannerman Castle. So that's one of my big goals, is to be able to fly a drone around at the Bannerman Castle. Hopefully before any more walls fall down. We got Pot of Gold Auctions. We're a big fan of theirs. They've helped us out a lot, immeasurably, getting rid of some of our debt, selling off a bunch of stuff, and hopefully maybe even get us enough debt out of debt enough to be able to consider getting back on the road again. Probably not this year, but eventually. So we're paying attention to what Pot of Gold Auctions got going on, and Kim Bishop is one of the big players over there, and this is their 8th anniversary. So it's just cool to see an organization that cares and lets people know about their employees. Got the Titan Missile Museum, which is one of the 18 Titan II intercontinental ballistic 9 megaton nuclear missiles that were here in Tucson. The one that they left open, and the one that they intentionally left for public view from satellite so that the commies could see that we really took them all apart in the SMART talks, which Russia withdrew from this week. So did you hear about Russia withdrawing from the SMART talks? The small munitions or something, blah, 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 that killed the nuclear missile silos. I don't know if anybody's paying attention to that stuff. Anyway, the Huey was the way that they would once in a while fly around between them. From what I understand, it's not like they flew with Hueys around, but they had these Hueys specifically for the Titans, the missiles, so that they could get out there quick if they had to, because they're far enough away from each other. They're spread out, so they're far enough away from each other that if one explodes or gets hit by a nuke, the other ones don't get affected by it. So they're miles and miles away from each other. I guess the idea is if you got to get between them quick, you're going to just, and there's no roads. There's only one road to each of them back in the day. Then a helicopter would have been the way to go. But from what I understand, they didn't use the helicopters too much. But fancy blue helicopter, and the Air Force or the Airplane Museum here in Tucson just repainted this guy. It was gone for a while and just came back out a couple of months ago. So it's a stunning Huey. Air Force blue Hueys, you don't see them very often, and not in old 70s, 80s. It's pretty cool. So anyway, I guess Apocalypse Now was released in theaters on the 15th, which it's not my biggest movie. I like the movie, but it's also Milius. So it's a Milius movie. That was on Monday. So I don't know if anybody watched Apocalypse Now this week, but pretty decent movie, kind of a trippy movie about Vietnam and the plight of soldiers tasked with doing things individually as part of a bigger picture, and the responsibilities, burdens, and consequences of that. It's a pretty good movie. Also well done, and started the careers of a lot of people. I think also helped romanticize a bit of the war for veterans that were coming home and getting spat on and whatnot because of the media hype at the time, right? A lot of stuff going on with Apocalypse Now. So that Smith & Wesson letter, here's a dude from Delta Force who's now an instructor. And if you want to talk about an actual influencer, there's the people that stand up and go, you know, I get paid to do this or that, or I get paid to carry this around or whatever. An influencer, in my opinion, is someone who's done stuff and been there, then lived through it, then comes out and instructs and coaches and trains and minds their shit, right? And that seems like more like an influencer, people that actually have influence over those who do. This is one of them kind of dudes. He's just a super interesting instructor. I don't always agree with everything he does, but I also don't have exactly same life experience as this guy. But certainly interesting to listen to this dude or watch this dude's stuff. And in this case, he's reposted the letter, and his comment was, and just like that, I decided I needed to buy an M&P 2.0. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I didn't buy an M&P. If I had thrown money around money, I might buy an M&P and give it to somebody. I don't like M&Ps as much as everybody else. Here's Julie Galoob, who's a sponsored shooter for Smith & Wesson, reposting. And Smith & Wesson, here she says, Smith & Wesson CEO issues strong statement in the face of 2A attacks. So we got Julie Galoob, who I don't pay that much attention to, but she's obviously a big name in the female firearms community industry. I would say in the culture too, like pop culture, right? She's a competition shooter. Some people know her name out there. She's guest on enough shows and that kind of stuff. So good to see her doing something that's focused on 2A. I don't want to say it's the only thing she's done because I don't follow enough of her stuff. Then we got FPC with 10 millimeter ammo next to a wallet. And it says California is one step closer to doubling the excise tax on firearms and ammo. Then it says old infringements are leading to new ways for anti-rights politicians to try to get between you and your rights. Don't let California empty your wallet. So again, you've got a lot of attacks, and how are we dealing with it? I mean, memes are effective, but I'm reposting this meme. I don't know, 7,000 something people seen it. We still got the attacks in California. I'd like to see how do we organize some of this stuff? Next is FPC again with a meme this time. I guess it's a modified keyboard or it's photoshopped. I can't tell. I guess it's photoshopped, but it's a keyboard with the letters FUCKYOUNO. So somehow a keyboard with 2 U's and 2 O's is immediately weird, but I guess I get it. Also, why is there a period between 2 of the letters? Seems weird, but I guess I get it. So it's not that funny to me, and I don't get it. I spend more time wondering what the hell, why they would spend this much time, and then what the hell is this little gap in the keyboard supposed to be? So it just makes no sense. And then at first I thought they were wrapping the wire around the capital, so I guess they thought the USB cord would sell it that it's a key. I don't know what this is supposed to be. It's almost as bad as when they look up somebody's nose and show you there's no hair, their nose hairs or whatever. So it says FPCC's call for two-way infringement breaks out special keyboard. I don't know. I mean, they push out a lot of stuff. So, and 6,500 people liked it. Somebody said, oh my God, this is good. So somebody liked it. Maybe that's a cool thing for keyboardists. I'm not much of a keyboardist. I think of a keyboard as a tool, not a piece of art. Speaking of a tool and not a piece of art, this is a poster of airborne units. This is not just our airborne units, I don't think, but this is airborne units. And it was Airborne Day. So every once in a while, a bunch of people that jump out of airplanes, drink beer, and think about all the people that ain't there to drink beer no more, and all the fun times they had jumping out of airplanes that everybody wonders why they would do that for. Mostly they do it to break legs and rip spines, kind of yank spines around. So then you get SHOT Show. SHOT Show Academy, specifically designed to help current exhibitors learn how to improve their overall SHOT Show experience, increase return on investment, which is substantial, and get the most out of their exhibit. And it's free. Learn ways to successfully exhibit, market, and present your products and services to the thousands of industry buyers at the 2023 SHOT Show. See the 2022 learning schedule through the link in the whatever. And then this one says, so far I've enjoyed attending the first two webinars. Looking forward to this one. And then somebody else gave them a couple of tacos. So we've got SHOT Show getting ready for the show that happens in January, getting people who are going to be exhibiting at the show up to speed and questions answered, I guess, for what's going to be a substantial investment in their business, in marketing and in getting the word out and meeting the industry, presenting to a bunch of people, everything from completely disinterested to oblivious to you're in their way to they can't wait to meet you to this is what they've been waiting for to potentially somebody in there. This is the thing they needed to launch their business, which is going to turn your business into gangbusters. There's all this potential, and how do you deal with all that? So NSSF, they deal with kind of a liaison between the government, bureaucracy, the enforcement and regulation, and potential regulation and laws. But then they also deal with through the SAMI, NSSF also deals with the kind of industry regulation. They help keep the standards in place. Is like what size is a 9mm? How many countries exactly have made the 9mm illegal at this point? Those kind of numbers are necessary. People need to know that. And SAMI keeps track of that kind of stuff. And then NSSF does all that. And then in addition does SHOT Show. And for SHOT Show, you think they've been doing it long enough that they'd have it all down, but for whatever reason, life keeps changing and the society and culture and economy keeps changing around them. So they insist on adapting. So this Exhibitor Academy deal is quite a few events, I guess, that are, I'm trying to figure this out myself, but I think it is online stuff. So maybe they get released. But anyway, you get one in July that's already happened. SHOT Show Exhibitor Academy kickoff. The 10th, which I guess is technically already happened 10 days ago. Boost your traffic booth with the right attractions. Next one is amplify your efforts at SHOT Show with the right sponsorships. September 7th. That's an interesting one. Then September 21, deep dive into the show planner. Sounds super boring. October 5th, how to maximize your attendee interactions at SHOT Show. That one sounds super interesting. October 26th, exhibitor logistics, booth design, deadlines, lead retrieval, lead retrieval. I think I don't know what that means, and more. November 16th, official SHOT Show attendee list email blast. Boring. December 7th, live SHOT Show attendee Q&A. It's kind of late. 21, countdown to SHOT Show, your final checklist. So sounds kind of neat. At least a couple of those I'd like to sit in on. Smeggy says he found an uncut AK card poster. Definitely not going to see those again. That costs way too much money to make those cards. So next we get this lawyers up in Phoenix area, the Attorneys for Freedom, and Mark Victor. This is the one lawyer there has this one dog. So they got this video where this Chihuahua is sitting in the back of a cop car getting arrested for ankle biting. And then this bulldog attorney, I guess, is going to get him out of jail. So I thought that was pretty good. I can't play it because I'm pretty sure they have copyrighted music playing the whole time. So people that go out there making these funny TikTok videos or whatever, nobody can play them because you're using copyrighted video. Ed's Manifesto is an awesome channel. He's a former federal police from Mexico, and experienced life through the drug war as law enforcement in Mexico. Since retired, hangs out in the United States doing quite a bit of training and offering skills, life skills and practical skills, like escaping from kidnapping type of stuff, entry and kind of like just awareness, ultimate awareness type of stuff. And just an awesome channel to check out. Posts a lot of interesting stuff, including this cat, which was stalking out this little mouse or whatever in the storm drain, and then eventually walks away with the mouse. Says something like, cats are chasing mice and the world keeps turning. Our response to dangerous times should be to become more dangerous, to seek out strength in community and look for others on the same path. Wherever you are out there, remember that you can go from cat to mouse in a blink of an eye. I like that post. Next one, I don't know if you can see that really good because it's all these up and down things, really made for a phone. This one's also from Ed's Manifesto, talking about the podcast that came out this week with OG Pumpkin, an awesome dude from, let's say an activist from California. And the way that Ed does his podcast is he has a bunch of it. He kind of does it in a multimedia way. It's really interesting, totally unique. And in this preview for the podcasts, he's showing about the riots and the cartel takeovers of Tijuana. So I don't know if anybody heard about the cartel takeovers of Tijuana this week. Was that in the news? Cartels are flexing down there. Rifle behind every blade of grass isn't to prevent war with other countries necessarily only. And it's not just to prevent against a tyrannical government. A rifle behind every blade of grass prevents the organized crime issues that they have in places like Mexico. That's 100 miles from me, less than that. It's literally miles from the border in Southern California. And the lawlessness and the ownership of the system that the cartels have. That wouldn't happen in a society where people could do something about it. Let's see. So this was the 82nd anniversary of the first official parachute jump that pioneered a new method of warfare. So this is again going back to Airborne Day. The reason they pick August 16th as Airborne Day is back in 1940, while World War II was raging, before the United States has entered the war, a platoon of soldiers completed 4 days of parachute jumps in a test that led to the creation of the paratrooper units known as Airborne. So we have air assault. That's where dudes jump out of things with a rope. And then we've got Airborne, where you jump out with a parachute. And that started on August 16th of 1940 with much different equipment than they use today, for sure. Cody Firearms Experience is on the east gate of Yellowstone National Park. Millions of international and national guests go into the park each year, and there's this big gun shop right as you go through, or right as you're going down the road, the only road into the east gate. That gun shop is on the south side of the road with a coffee house, and it's got a range, and it's got some other non-gun things like a shooting gallery, like with the lights, but it's like a kind of Chuck E. Cheese type of shooting gallery thing. I know they do some other stuff, laser tag or something else. And then they've got some different classes and stuff. They got plenty of room for people to stretch out. They've got effectively a museum there, lots of rentals and a super friendly staff and an active social presence. So when people are planning their trip, they're gonna know about the Cody Firearms Experience. There's a couple of things in Cody. Well, actually, there's one thing in Cody that I'm not a fan of, but there's other things in Cody that are awesome, including the Cody Firearms Experience. And they continue, like I say, to do great on social. So I like to post the kind of stuff that they are offering out there when it's something new to add. So this gives you a great view of their range. It's super modern and nice. There's a glass behind it, so this person who's taking the picture is probably standing in the lobby just watching what's happening in the range. So it's the kind of range where you can be real safe and assured that everybody's doing the normal range stuff. And then in this case, they've got the old Gatling gun there, and you get to rent a couple of cranks on a Gatling gun, which is neat. But often the Gatling guns are all super modern and they're fancy, and it's not really the same experience. Part of what's cool about a Gatling gun is part of what's cool about a AK or an SKS or something. An SKS and an AK, a good one, like an old one, an interesting one, not necessarily a good one, but an interesting one, you can hold it by its wooden stock and its handguard up front and shake on it, and it's going to make a bunch of noise like a whatever, like something that rattles, right? An old Gatling gun is like that. You mean you'd never be able to pick it up and rattle it, but it's going to have less tolerance than the new ones, and that adds to the awesomeness of it when they smoke and creak and wiggle and twist as they're shooting. It's just super fun. So it's really neat to be able to shoot an old one on an old carriage like that. Often you just have it set on the like platform there or whatever in some kind of a metal get up, and it's all chained in. This one seems like it's a lot more fun. Let's see. So this month, August, is the, National something shooting month, sports shooting month or something like that. So this is Let's Go Shooting USA and the NSSF. I think it's one of their campaigns. Going to the range can be intimidating for the first time, but the more familiar you are with firearm safety and range rules, the less intimidating it can be. If you're interested in going to the range for the first time and are a bit nervous, reaching out to an experienced friend to guide you on your new experience can be a calming solution. If you're an experienced shooter, join the NSSF's +1 movement and invite someone new to the range. Have a range day planned already? Find everything you need to know at the link in our bio. So again, NSSF is that liaison between the industry and the community. They've taken on that role, and in this case, offering some guidance and resources for everyone, for just regular individuals who want to take that step to take someone to the range. And if you're need or you're interested in their what they have to offer, or if the person you're going with would find value in something prepared or printed, something that is going to have the information presented in a way that might not be the same way that your style of presenting it, giving your person that you're taking to the range one experience is one thing, that's fine and it's appropriate. It happens more often than not. But if you can additionally give them an opportunity to have another, similar, different point of view right at the same time, something tangible to take home, some things you can print out or find, at the range. I think that's cool. Again, we're looking for things. What the hell is that? They got some kind of basket they put the gun in? Is that a thing at gun shops now or at ranges? When did that start? I don't like that. I guess I understand it, but I don't like it. So that encourages just anybody to walk up without even having a range bag or nothing. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Anyhow, I think that one of the things we have to do is figure out ways to bring new people on board and blah blah blah. And talking about it is one thing. Listening to people talk about it forever, but here's NSSF having created this stuff, and then additionally went out and produced a video. Looks like Chris Chang is in it. I don't know who these other people are, but went out and created a video that's got production value and trendy or whatever. So looks like it could appeal to people. They're doing something about it, and they've done it, and they're sharing it. So that's why I'm sharing it, because talking about it's one thing. Here's how you can enhance your doing of it. All right, so now you get to Diana Mueller, who is the created the DC project. She's a 23-year veteran of the Tulsa Police Department, a competitive professional shooter now. And then she posted this video from Tacti Girl Michelle, who's been around for a while on the socials also. A competitive shooter, I think. Definitely a one of the girls that posts a lot. Sort of the fashion, how to carry, methods of draw, methods of concealment, as you can see. And again, this is the kind of stuff that the girls are doing on TikTok. These are the kind of examples now that are out there for girls that are going to school, girls that are younger trying to figure out, how they're going to grow up or whatever. So awesome role models. Think back to when, 1980, what would the role models have been for little girls who wanted to grow up and be into guns or whatever? Probably some kind of cowgirl, and maybe Paxton Quigley, somebody like that. All right, so now we've got Tony Simon, does a diversity shoot, went off as often as he can. He actually finally sent me, actually they're in Instagram. I could go get them, but I'm not gonna. But he finally sent me the link to all of the different diversity shoots that are coming up. The next one is Wednesday, this August 24th, 6 to 9 in Monroe, New Jersey. You can see the kind of turnout Tony gets. So Tony, I talk to Tony constantly, and I talk to him about this kind of stuff. He'll bring people to the event. Most of the people have either never been shooting or around guns, but they're curious. They're looking for a new experience, not so much like a date night, like a let's exploit guns as an interesting date night opportunity, but more like I've been interested in guns, and this is a way that I feel comfortable getting an introduction to guns in a serious yet comfortable environment. So Tony creates this place for people that are new to guns, but then because he's been doing them for a while now, those people who have experienced the events can bring people to the events knowing what it's all about. So Tony fosters a place for this community to happen. He doesn't require the people that attend, other than basically helping them pay for pizza, like paying a couple of bucks to be there. There's no other obligation. So Tony accepts donations, and I've asked him on Monday, you can definitely go and buy a ticket. He has tickets at, I can't think of the place. He has Eventbrite, I think. Yeah, Eventbrite is the service he uses. So if you wanted to help his event, you could just buy a ticket, and then if you just don't show up, he has that extra money. He doesn't buy pizza with it. But this gives you a kind of idea of the kind of scale. The last event, he had 30 people show up. So pizza for 30 people, is what he's basically looking at. Ammunition for 30 people. Tony and his volunteers provide that ammo, and he doesn't have a ammo sponsor that gives them the ammo that they bring. Like, they're all just putting out their own pocket ammo. And I'm sure it's because they appreciate being able to introduce new shooters to firearms, and they understand the significance of that. But I'd just like to let people know, one, that it's happening, one, that it happens on a regular basis. It's established, and as good a dude as Tony is, he is not a person who goes out looking for funds. So I'm attempting to help him with that, but you can only show people a million ways to raise funds. You can't make them raise funds. So if you're interested in helping Tony out, you can go to diversityshoot.com. which is a website, and it has a PayPal thing on it. You can just throw a couple of bucks at them. Or you can go to that Eventbrite thing, buy a ticket, and that goes straight into his funds as well. I suspect the PayPal button over here is the least amount of fees. But if you're not a PayPal fan, then consider helping him out. Just get the word out about what he's doing. It's valid, and it's been successful. He's also he's not feeble. He's just between houses, and he's got some family issues because of the way this house situation is. So once he's able to obtain a house, it's a difficult situation. There's more people looking for houses than houses where he's at. So once he's got a permanent home situation, I'm sure it'll be a different, he'll have different abilities to spend effort and be able to pursue the project more. But it's just not done the project while he's kind of bouncing around between living in situations while he's getting his house figured out. No, he's continuing to do the event, so good stuff. Kingpin's pulling out a link to the shirt. I'm not wearing it today, but I have a bunch of those shirts. The thing is, Tony doesn't really make any money on those shirts, so the shirts are awesome, and I definitely encourage you to check them out. They're $10 shipped. They're awesome, but Tony doesn't really actually make any money from those. They just exist. Now we're talking to Yankee, we're watching Yankee, who does stuff on Instagram, usually weird and off-topic stuff. In this one, he's complaining because he raised $11,000 to give to some dogs. And I think that's an interesting one because Yankee helps us out a lot. I like to say thanks by promoting the projects that he does. His projects are almost usually exclusively for pets or, critters that are stranded, or what is that called? Strays, or veterans, which I guess can also be strays. So Yankee's usually doing projects for something like that, or in between projects for something like that. During Christmas, he'll do the toy guns for tots, where he specifically goes and buys out like an entire Target's worth of toy guns and then distributes them around the state so that the kids that are getting toys get a gun once in a while. So I just wanted to post that. I usually take a pretty big hit when I post Yankee stuff. As many as people that follow Yankee follow me. I guess a bunch of people hate Yankee and get mad when I acknowledge that Yankee's a good dude. I mean, it's not right all the time, but he's a good person. Let's see. So then you get Stephen Holbrook, who I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he's a good person also. Was talking about Davy Crockett, which I think I need to put in my calendar because I didn't have Davy Crockett in the calendar, I don't think. But it turns out 4 days ago, which would have been the 17th, is Davy Crockett's birthday back in 1786. So it's been a long time since I read about Davy Crockett, but kind of makes me want to think about reading this post made me think about wanting to watch a movie or read something about Davy Crockett again. Because for a while there, I mean, that's why I like Kentucky so much, I'm sure. But for a while there, that was the shit. So I don't know if everybody read about the frontiersmen, the dudes that came over the Appalachians, mostly trading, right? And hunting and scouting. That was some interesting times for this country. Super interesting times. Not quite westward expansion where we decided to start slaughtering species to be dicks and whatnot. And it's not like everybody out here was loving each other. There was freaking wars out here. People hated each other, and people were super dicks out here. And then you give them horses, and they're worse. It's like biker gangs, except with no rules at all. But before all that stuff, while we were still, the United States was still creeping over the Appalachians, those were some interesting times. A lot of rugged individualism got us over the Appalachians. And then those guys went and stole Texas from Mexico or whatever happened. So I don't remember history that good. But yeah, a lot of people, a lot of stuff happened. And that's pretty neat that I never had Davy Crockett in my stuff. Maybe because of what he did to those poor raccoons to make hats out of them. Let's see. So then we get Detroit CCW, which is Rick Ector. This is a pretty cool. I don't know who this is. Is this a sports guy? I don't know who this guy is. So I assume when I don't know somebody and everybody else does that it's sports. So discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Maybe that's a well-known thing by sports and I just don't know it, but I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, I'm assuming, dude. Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett, yeah. And then Bowie. Isn't Bowie from your area, your neck of the woods also? Let's see. So then another one from Rick Ector. This one might win the week. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Is this guy sports? I don't know if that's sports. I don't like it as much. But if it isn't, dang, I like that. And then it just says be better a whole bunch of times. I guess that guy trademarked be better. Well, that's a douche move. I mean, kind of asshole takes 2 words and trademarks them. But whatever. Then you get Guns and Gadgets. So Jared's over there saying Liz Cheney got voted out. I usually link to Jared's stuff because he's a little bit yelling about the sky's falling end of the spectrum. But he's doing that with 1 million subs, close to 1,600,000 subs. So definitely worth paying attention to what he's getting out there. And in this case, we shouldn't be lightly taken. We act like 1994 is granted or 1994 is given. 1994 is a reference to the removal of all people that voted for gun control from office unanimously immediately after they voted for gun control. We have to be aware of this and making this part of a national message. There's no way this should be the only post about this. And it effectively was the only post about this. So people don't like some people don't like other people, some people ain't doing enough, blah, blah, blah. But at least Jared's the only one I saw that was actually posting about this at some sort of a significant level. It's still 672. So if we go over and look at his posts for the week off of his Instagram, this one had 672. Well. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, let's see how it is compared to some of these others. There's only 2 posts that have more hits. So effectively, it's one of his second or third most popular posts this week. So that's good to hear. I'd like to hear more people then complaining about it or making a point about it, making sure every politician knows all about it, right? National Forest named for Boone. Isn't there towns? Pretty sure he's got his own town. I don't know. You're talking about Daniel Boone, an American entrepreneur, author, and motivational speaker. Oh, you're talking about that guy. He was a American entrepreneur, author, and motivational speaker. Awesome. Then that's even better because I don't like giving sports any credit for anything. I don't care if sports let little kids learn teamwork and, defeat. That's awesome. But in winning, I guess. But everything else about sports, lame. I don't like it. All right, liberal gun owners. I was talking about lame things I don't like. The ongoing critique of the never-ending dumb shit from the online gun world starts now. Perfect. So here you go. Weird-ass liberal gun owners. And then they're saying that the critique of never-ending dumb shit from the online gun world. So let's be new. Let's not make any effort at all to understand what's already here. Let's get offended because we're not invited into what's already here. And then let's start talking shit about what's already here. Brilliant. Can't offer a better example of why these people who get all pissed when they don't get included with shit are doing shit that doesn't make anybody want to include them. So, kettle, meet the black pot, or whatever the hell that saying is. Come on, man. Shredding gun derp with whatever the hell and Murphy. Come on, man. I know how to be weird, and this is just being not weird. This is weaponizing weird. Come on. No, I know, but why can't we message, right? We need to, it's got to be part of it. It was part of it. That's what I'm saying. And we shouldn't be just not doing nothing, right? Yeah, I'm okay with that, but I'm just saying that we're not celebrating enough for the accomplishments and whatnot. I just noticed that Toby's got this giant old-fashioned ass light attached to his shit over here. Let's give him shit about that next time. He needs to get an LED light up in here. Was this the olden days? So you see this little deal that holds up his 2 monitors? I passed one of those up for $5. $5. I'm so proud of myself because I could have bought it and not needed it, but had it and I didn't buy it. Very, very similar to this one. And I passed it up for $5, mainly because my monitor's too wide. I didn't think it would work with my wide ass monitor. So let's see. This was from Toby doing the Cape Gun Works backup. So they record a live radio show. They post that out on Boston, Massachusetts, a bunch of other places in Massachusetts, Florida, and Arizona, I'm pretty sure. On top of running a gun shop, on top of having the food truck out front. So they keep doing this, and they record the show on Wednesday and go live on YouTube and actually interact with the YouTube as part of the show. And I've added Instagram to the mix. So you can watch them on the up and down Instagram if you don't like looking at the normal sized YouTube video. So anyway, I thought that was cool. I just wanted to make a point that one of the tripods, so this is probably the webcam. This is another webcam. This is the old-fashioned ass light bulb with a thing in front of it. That's the microphone. Then this would be the tripod where Instagram is at. And then there's another camera that they'll show when they're recording. So they got a lot of stuff going on, which means that you know exactly what their studio is because it isn't all fake. Here's how you can tell when something's fake. You never see a camera. Everything's perfect. If you're not realizing that you're watching something, it's fake and scripted and engineered, and somebody's paying for that. Nobody does that because they want to. They're doing that because it's a job and they're getting paid for it. Nobody gets paid to be cool and offer insight. So this is indications. This picture right here is indications how authentic this effort is that this gun shop is doing, on top of being a gun shop in the little peninsula Cape of Massachusetts. And then you got a different type of awareness of the rift. So I was just raging about wherever liberal gun owners who hate other gun owners or whatever. So then you flip over a couple and you get Triggerology, who is a firearms instructor, activist out of California, Instagrammer for sure, saying not all gun folk are 2A folk. So that's a whole nother way of looking at it. And again, focusing on the rift and being aware of it. Like, hey, this person's got a cut. Maybe not putting a suture on it, but this is, hey, there's a cut. Let me rub some salt and alcohol. Let me rub a bunch of rock salt and alcohol in that cut and then see what happens. And then let's bitch that it doesn't heal. Oh, yeah, that's what's happening over here. This is like, hey, I see a wound. Wonder where the wound happened, right? Not necessarily a suture, but at least it's not rubbing rock salt and alcohol in it. Tag him in the comments if you know him. My social commentary for the week. This is Triggerology. Most often recognized by uttering the cursed words, I support the Second Amendment, I own guns myself, I hunt and shoot skeet, but these individuals are known as FUDs and statists primarily. There are also individuals and entire companies who profit handsomely from the firearms economy and from infringements, but cannot find a damn second of their day to use their voice or platform to speak against the nonstop onslaught of infringements being pushed at local, state, or federal level. We have reached a level of tyranny where it is no longer enough for us to send your check to your favorite to a rights advocacy group. It's high time to get publicly vocal and loud about your stance on the protection of the right that protects all others. And it can finish his post here. Is your government contract too profitable? Even when you see that same government agency trample the rights of your fellow citizen? Is your infringement created client list just too profitable for you to speak in defense of your fellow citizens' empowerment? Time to step up. It can't just be a handful of companies and the 2A advocates pulling the weight. Or are you just about profits with zero principles? All right. So, and then he says, if the shoe fits, wear it. So this is obviously a more of a frustration against the, probably, I'm guessing, the resources that seem to be squandered or at least not spent on, activism or defense of rights. That's a tough one. Now, I know that there's a couple of examples. He's in California. I know there's a couple of examples in California of manufacturers, industry supporting both sides of the fence. And when you look at a report and it says this person supported both sides of the fence, well, that's freaking annoying, right? That's frustrating. If it's a necessity of doing business and they're doing it with clenched teeth and they did the exact minimum amount possible, I guess it's understandable. It's not necessarily excusable, but I don't know the circumstances to which angle he's complaining about here. Of course, I see a lot of different potential fractures and rifts, but if you're looking at a big rock, oftentimes there's cracks in that rock. Sometimes there's what seems to be a crack all the way through that rock, but for whatever reason, it's still a single rock. And it's all made of the same material, but for whatever reason, some of that material is on the right side of the rock and some of that material is on the left side of the rock. So, you can look at the one crack, you can look at the many cracks, you can look at cracks and how they react over time, but a crack itself doesn't do anything. A crack that weathers through winters and summers and expansion of water and the drying out and the dehydration and stuff, that's what creates the rift being ignored over time. Now you can notice that there's a fracture or some kind of a problem and you can attend to that so that time doesn't eat away at it and time does, it's solved. And sometimes there's a crack and you're just never going to get stuff across that rift. There's certainly people that I hope people that you'll never deal with. Otherwise, have you ever dealt with anybody? Like there's definitely people that are on two different sides of things that are still made of the same stuff. We can get past that. So not all gun folks are 2A folks. All right. I'm aware of that. I'm okay with that. Some of them are FUDs. That seems kind of old. So I'm going to go back and kind of take apart his comments here. Getting mad at FUDs is new, and it's a cycle. You're going to get into guns. These are adults buying guns for the first times as adults. They're making the decision and going out and learning for their own selves how to buy a gun. They think it's like buying a motorcycle or buying a blender or buying some kind of investment portfolio. They're going to do some research. They're going to master it. They're going to buy the thing and they're going to have a happy decision. And they're going to know that the alternative was a different flavor or a different brand. Then they're going to own the thing. And then they're going to experience friends, family, people they don't even know having an opinion about the decision they made to purchase something. And then they're going to understand the simple possession or the ability of their open-mindedness to possess that thing, flip the script on them. Then they're going to look around and figure stuff out in a different way. So most people I talk to lived through that over our lives, and we're experiencing flipping and flapping of one little flag over a lifetime of a fortress, of a castle, of gun ownership. These are people that had just built their first little straw shack of gun ownership, and then they're living through their first storm of anti-gunners hounding them for why they own that thing. And they're looking over at people in a castle and going, why the hell aren't you helping us in our little thing? They didn't ask us to jump in the castle. And they didn't know that they can't build their own castle or they can build their own castle. They're just on their path, their journey, and they're only so far away. So getting mad at FUDs, I don't care. That's like a little kid getting mad at his older brother and sister because they can drive, or the kid who can drive getting mad at the older kids that can drink, or the older kids that can drink getting mad at the kids that already have jobs. Kids that already have jobs getting mad at the people that already have families. That's just the way it is. So somebody's got to jump on board and get mad at FUDs. Who cares? FUDs don't care, and they're going to get over it. Getting mad at the industry, I don't know. Again, spend some time on the clock. Figure out that just because they make Pepto-Bismol doesn't mean they give a shit about your indigestion. They just make Pepto-Bismol. Some people are buying that Pepto-Bismol in the case and using it for a YouTube video because it's the right color pink, and they're still selling Pepto-Bismol. They don't care. So companies are companies, and getting mad at companies is like getting mad at the sky for being blue. You can do it. You can justify why it should be purple or some other stupid color, but it's blue, and some things we're just going to deal with. So in capitalism, I don't know. I'm past raging about what companies could do. We can amplify the companies that did or do, right? Then is your government contract too profitable? man, now it's all about getting mad at the police and stuff. I don't see the win there. So get mad at an individual, a criminal if you want. A criminal can own a gun, a criminal can wear a badge. Get mad at criminals all you want. But throwing everybody under the bus is what they do to gun owners, and it's what they do to capitalists, and it's what they do with people with morals. So fuck all that. How about that? And then otherwise, I sincerely appreciate your position there and the fact that you're posting it. I just don't agree because I'm not in the same boat. And I also don't live in California. I get attacked because I have good friends in states like Connecticut, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Illinois, California, Washington, Oregon, California, or Florida, Texas. I have friends in other states, but I have friends in all these states that are getting wailed on. So when one of them whines at me, it's real difficult for me to go, I don't discare, I don't uncare. I'm just able to care about a lot. And, you know, there's only so much we can do, but to be aware and to create opportunity for people to collaborate. And eventually we'll become stronger as a community, and we'll eliminate the individuals. Let's also look at, there's only 9 states that are assholes. That means 40 something states run around not being assholes all the time. It's a lot of untapped resource. So instead of getting frustrated because it's kind of new to everybody and we're not all living some kind of weird, I don't know, ant-like life where we all immediately understand each other's plights and react as a hive to fix it. We don't live like that. We're not striving for that. So we have to get used to how to do this in ways, right? Figure out the ways to do it. We got time to do it. So then that same radio show is on 2 different Instagrams, and there you go, 2 different Instagrams. Except this one, they're trying to hide that old-fashioned light they got going on. Let's see. So then there's KD out there doing all kinds of stuff. And let's see, what was this? This was KD posting about something. So this is, we chatted briefly on Facebook about firearms policy and the unintended consequences of gun control. Currently, our website has us supporting the assault weapons ban. We will be moving away from that position shortly. I wanted to get your feedback on our policy positions and how they may be leveraged asymmetrically. On our policy positions and how they may be leveraged to be asymmetrically enforced against the Black community and other targeted communities. And then KD was on like an hour phone call with this person. So effectively, some organization out there that's remaining anonymous reached out to KD in order to get more clarification on how to effectively create a policy that's more decent instead of being, you know, they just probably went with whatever they were told, you know, be in support of an assault weapons ban. They started to look at it and they're exploring it. And that's what's awesome. So people that are out there doing stuff become the catalysts for others. And in this case, literally someone to reach out to. KD's capable, so, you know, he's able to, and then did the hour phone call. I'm assuming that with the post like this, you know, he's archiving an accomplishment. Even if he was archiving a disappointment, it's still archiving that the work is getting done. Then we got Armed Women of America. Used to be I can't remember what it used to be. Well Armed Women, WAW. This is Terry Vaughn. I haven't heard of this guy before. So this is 5 tips to keep you safe.
5 things I'd never do after teaching personal safety for more than 20 years. Never think of someone who's attacking you as a person. They are an it. They gave up the right to be considered a person the minute they committed a crime. This is particularly important for our daughters and for women in general because they're more likely to know their attacker. And psychologically, it's easier to inflict the damage necessary to get it to stop doing whatever it is you don't like if you're not thinking of them as a person. Never go to a party, concert, or bar without a cling wrap. Now, this is another one I've taught my daughters. You take the cling wrap so that the moment you're handed your drink, you can slap that cling wrap over the top and pop a straw through it. The cover makes it much more difficult for some douchebag to drop drugs into your drink. Don't rely on the locks on a hotel room door. Get yourself one of those traveling wedges that can go in there and secure the door, or failing that, wedge the iron board up under the handle at night so that no one can gain entry. And yes, it could be a bit of a nuisance if there was a fire in the hotel trying to get it out from underneath the door. Security is a trade-off, and that's one that I'm willing to make in order to sleep soundly. Don't go anywhere without a flashlight. If something bad's going to happen, nearly guaranteed it's going to happen in low light or dark. In addition, make sure that flashlight has a green filter, which is much better for your night vision than even a traditional red lens. If for some reason things go sideways and you've got to rip the filter off, they're usually pretty easy to detach. You can go to white light and/or utilizing the bevels to start gouging out somebody's eyeballs if necessary. Don't use pepper spray. Instead, use pepper. 5 things I never do after teaching personal safety.
So I thought that was pretty good. I don't like pepper spray. I think that one's weird. But light one, big fan of. And just the idea of being aware, being understanding that there's things that steps that could be made, just like having a awareness of fire exits or a fire lane, breakdown lane when you're driving. Just knowing where to go or something gives you that opportunity in the time of stress to not be thinking about it for the first time or be frozen. So then you get Jenny Thrasher, who is an Olympic level shooter, and again plays with the TikToks and the little circles on Instagram here quite a bit. This one is, I think this is one of the dating app things, and this is ranges she'd swipe right on, and it's got the Changwon, South Korea range. These are air gun ranges, I'm assuming. Maybe they're 22 ranges. The Lima, Peru, which seems pretty awesome. Actually, super awesome. Rio de Janeiro, which seems even super cooler. Look at the stadium seats in this one. I'm guessing these are air gun, but with that air system, I guess they could be 22s. And then Cairo, Egypt. This one seems smaller, but then when you look at those bleacher seats, maybe it isn't. Anyway, I thought that was kind of neat because how often you get to see international ranges. And I kind of assumed they were outside. I guess obviously they're not. This one is outside. But these are just big buildings. And this could be in a bowling alley, I guess. It would just look like a big building from the outside. I think that's kind of neat. All right, more pictures of people's nostrils and in their eyeball veins and whatever. The White House recently said they are working with Senate leaders to advance H.R. 108 or 1808. That means the recess is being used as a cover for more backroom dealing by all the worst people. This is the only thing I've seen all week is a little tiny bit by them showing everybody's eyeball veins, teeth blisters or whatever's going on. And then this goofy Century with a shitty mag. So come on. So I think this is an opportunity we're missing right now. I don't obviously have the reach to be able to do anything about it, but I really think, what the hell? I guess I clicked something. No, crap. Was this all just a link to go spend $100 to try to win a Century? Ugh. Shouldn't have clicked that link. I'm unclicking it. I support them, but not all that shit. So going back to the profile, when you click on something on Instagram, it takes you off the little system I was on there. I have to go back to my, nope. I have to go back to my saved and then this one. Get back on the track here. There needs to be a dating app for someone to go shooting with. Yeah, and they have dating, but well, I guess that'd be a whole different app. I was going to say a shooting app, though. Like, I shoot this caliber, and this way I don't have to talk to anybody that doesn't shoot 9mm or that shoots 9mm. Another big one to watch for ladies: be careful with the flowers in public. Look and make sure they don't have any powder. Oh, snap! And I imagine you could put you could dip them in something gross too. I never thought about that, dude. That's messed up. I never even thought about that. The guy dropping that pill in the drink is why I don't go to parties. And then I heard just something yesterday. Somebody put something like on a napkin under some girl's car door. So that's gross, like poison or something. But it's always easier to break a window than it is to build glass or to, create a house. So don't get discouraged just because it's easy to be bad and horrible. good wins. Good's half of the time. So as easy as it is to be bad, there's not that many people being bad. All right, so next up is Rapid Fire Radio, which is the radio show that Cape Gun Works puts on. They had the Howie and Grace Curley are big time radio shows in the Boston area. They come down to the Cape, which is just the peninsula of Massachusetts, to the gun shop and do their show there live. So this one, I don't think they showed anything. At least I didn't see anything live yesterday. I think it was Friday. I didn't see anything live coverage of it, but they were probably broadcasting on Rumble. We were talking about Rumble earlier. Grace Curley and Howie, whatever, they do their both of their shows stream on Rumble instead of YouTube. They don't put them out on YouTube. I think they got kicked off of YouTube for being political, though. So then this was to mention that they're there showing the sign. So they have a sign out by the road. One of my favorite things about gun shops is when they're part of the community, when they help normalize guns. Cape Gun Works has a decent, lets you know it's a gun shop. It says gun in it. It's got the target and everything. It's got a regular target, though. It's easy to recognize for the logo, but it's still a range. I don't know why it would say our next great me, but that's because on the truck behind it, it says follow me to our next great meal. To your next great meal is what it probably says. So anyway, that's poking through the sign from the truck behind it, but that threw me off for a minute. Anyway, it's just letting people know on their marquee out front that the gun shop has the radio show there. And then you can't really tell, but they got some kind of sale going on with some kind of what do you call that thing? A letterboard type of sign. And then the food truck, which is super cool looking. So they've got a big food truck there at the store now, and you can grab something tasty while you're watching you could have grabbed something tasty while you're watching the radio show. Again, normalizing guns, having the entire radio show at the gun shop lets all the radio show listeners understand that gun shops are welcoming and places for, get-togethers and stuff like that. Super fun. All right, next we get Sportsman's Guide, which is an awesome company up in Minnesota, and they posted this picture of a dog with Sportsman's Guide hat on. So, of course, I had to repost the picture because it's awesome, even though it's a dog that's got long hair. Some long hair dogs are okay. Then you got Dragon Man, who's awesome, showing off his company car, but I wanted to use this as an excuse to mention that his machine gun shoot is coming up here sooner than later. So if you're going to be in the Colorado Springs area, and you want to check out the second coolest annual machine gun shoot, the coolest one at a museum, the coolest one at Dragon Man's for damn sure, then you might want to go check out the Dragon Man's annual machine gun shoot. So every once in a while, I think every morning actually, Dragon Man goes down to town to eat because he doesn't cook. He says he just eats at restaurants all the time. So this is one of the vehicles he drives down to town. I think you could smell a flower that Dragon Man gave you. That would be okay. Let's see. So then one of our friends is up in Phoenix, and they do medical. They sell medical supplies and not so much like kits as much as what to put in a kit. So like the cheapest you can get the medical supplies kind of thing. And they go to a lot of gun shows. They've had our patches over the years. They often buy a bunch of my patches off of me so you can sell them at gun shows. I appreciate that. Helps get the Every Second Matters word out there. So if you've seen an Every Second Matters patch at a gun show in California, that was at the Tactical Medics tables. They go to Vegas once in a while. I think they go to Utah for shows. I don't know if they've ever gone to New Mexico, but then they do a bunch of Arizona shows, of course. He's going to Florida. So man, I wish I had resources to be able to check that out. But this weekend, next weekend, what am I saying? Yeah, next weekend, they're going to be in Florida doing a Pensacola show. So that would be cool. I've been past Pensacola on 10 right there and seen how cool it looks from 10. I can't even imagine going somewhere where you could hang out near there. So, yeah, pretty cool. They're going to be traveling across the country from Arizona to Florida to set up at a gun show. I just think that's neat. I'm a big fan of gun shows, just a friend of mine, and big fan of traveling. So can't wait to see how it turns out for him. I've known a couple of people that travel to shows like this. The people I knew were more weird stuff, like out of the ordinary stuff, not so much commodity stuff. So I'm going to be curious to see how the commodity type of items sell. And I don't know anything about what is that? I don't know anything about a Pensacola gun show other than there's a massive Navy base there, tons of boats. So it's probably a really cool gun show. Now we get to the DC Project. This was a couple of days ago in recognition of National Aviation Day. The DC Project remembered Amelia Earhart, who was not only courageous as the first female aviator to fly solo across the Atlantic, but she was also a female firearms owner. She carried a .32 ACP, a decent caliber, Colt model 1903, regularly for her protection. And then here's a picture of her with a pistol. So I don't know what's up with that, but whatever. The DC Project is proud of the women in history that have continued to be a voice. What does that mean? For the DC Project is proud of the women in history that have continued to be a voice for firearms education and advocacy. I would say here's how to mansplain the sentence. The DC Project is proud of the women throughout history that had created a voice for firearms education and advocacy. Come on, ladies. You're supposed to know words better than dudes. Come on. I had to mansplain that sentence for you. So anyway, this is pretty good. Amelia Earhart's pretty good. She's not that great, but she's shooting a gun. That's cool. It's a revolver. Oh, wait, you're not allowed to have a revolver. Amelia Earhart is a sexist. She shouldn't have a revolver. Some man must have told her to have that revolver. Do you really think some man came up to Amelia Earhart and was like, hey, lady, you know what would be good for you? This revolver. And then she was like, I'll take your advice, man. I bet you she decided to pick up that revolver. And all the ladies out there should keep heed that Amelia Earhart, the only lady to fly across the ocean, decided to pick up a freaking revolver to do it. So I'm just saying. The quote here says, use your fear. Use your fear. It can take you to the place you store your courage. I don't know. But it's a thing. And it's, her shooting a gun. Her friend's pretty happy about it. Her friend's got what? What she got there? Stock. Can you tell from the stock and the hammer? Hammer. Optic. Hammer and optic. What is it? What can it be? It can only be really one thing. Whatever year this was that Amelia Earhart was still sticking around. What could that be? What could that be with a hammer, an optic, and a stock on it? Do you think her finger's off the trigger in 1930, whatever this was? I bet you it wasn't, because back in the 30s, you put your finger on a trigger. That's how they did things. Speaking of the DC Project, it's a bunch of ladies, pretty much one or more from each state. They get together on the regular since 2015, and they assemble in DC. They group up into groups of 5 and start to meet with representatives. These are meetings that they have scheduled, and then they facilitate, running all around and figuring out where the offices are. They meet usually with the representatives, sometimes with just, people for the representatives, but usually like staff or something, but almost usually with the representatives. They'll mix up gun-friendly states and less friendly states so that people who are used to having positive conversations about gun ownership and gun owners' rights, having positive communication with their representatives, they mix that up with the states where it's less positive, so that the DC Project representatives get to experience the different types of representation, and those representatives get to experience different types of firearms owners with different positions and different interests and from different backgrounds. So when you take those 50 ladies from 50 states and the ladies that support them, not to mention the families, businesses, civic organizations that are aware and make time for these ladies to do this on their own dime. There's nothing funding this, just these ladies doing it themselves. They get the experience over years of talking to those representatives, and they often, when possible, from what I understand, tell those representatives that, give those representatives their contact information. They let them know, if you get asked something that you're not familiar with, you have us as a resource to find out. You don't have to depend on the NRA. You don't have to depend on the ladies who demand that they represent all moms. Instead, you have ladies here that represent all female gun owners and the changing face of gun owners. And if you have a question, we are a phone call away. They've provided that resource over the years. These ladies are the reason that we live in an environment we have now where our rights aren't simply taken, but they're attempted to be taken. So they've given us unmeasured amount of opportunity over the last years in order to, I'm sure, to have some esprit de corps and understand for each other the value that they provide the country and our history, or our descendants, I guess, or our future. They get together and collaborate and, well, meet at the Capitol. So they're doing that on the 16th for whatever reason, days before the Gun Rights Policy Conference and AmCon. So it makes it really easy for everybody. So I like to post this as often as possible. It's coming up. It's getting to be just around the corner. Each one of these ladies is getting there on their own dime. None of them have good ways of supporting them. It's all a pain in the ass. If you want to support one of them, you have to do a bunch of work and figure it out. Some of them, it's a little easier than others, but none of them have their hands out. And they all deserve it. So if you know gun shops, it's shame on any gun shop that isn't supporting a DC Project representative. If you know of anybody who supports any kind of competition shooter or anybody in the industry that suggests that they support the community, then ask them why they're not supporting their DC Project representatives. Not only should these ladies be able to not take vacation time, you know, they shouldn't have to take their own vacation time from work. They should have paid travel. They should have a place that they can get to so that the facilitation of their efforts is off the board, so that they can actually experience what it is they're creating, instead of having to, in addition to doing the work they're doing, have to come up with all the behind the scenes, you know, get there, travel, arrange everything, get there. It's a pain in the ass. So I just like to take as much time as I can to champion their efforts and their accomplishments and encourage people, if you're going to support anything, be supporting the ladies of the DC Project for sure. All right, keep moving. And they do everything on Facebook because they don't listen to anybody. Then we get, this is another girl. I don't know if she's in the DC Project, but I don't remember if there's music on this. Oh yeah. So again, people that don't like the TikTok or whatever, here's an example of what the girls are doing on the TikTok to inspire, motivate, and educate each other. How do I do this? I think I have to, I can't make it stop. I just have to refresh.
This is my day-to-day instructor outfit. I carry a SIG 365X with an Eclipse holster. It's the Delta IWB Kydex, and then I clip it on the neck belt. My leggings are tactical leggings by Alexa Athletica, and the tank top is Target, $8, guys. Throw on a jacket if I'm running to the store after work, and then I'm concealed. Forgot the cloth. Okay, we're good. Next up, it's more casual, jeans, t-shirt, you know, so you don't want to worry about. Use this one as the Eclipse holster. Most popular one is the Intrepid, so you don't need a belt with it. Clip it, super easy. Love that French tuck because you can hide all the goods. Clothes, we're cute, we're packing, you know. Someone's going to ask. The shirt is US Lockfield and the jeans are Target. All right, what's next? Ooh, this outfit sucks. Okay, loose shorts. So I use the holster belly. Super biased to this because in 2019 I helped with the design, but love it.
All right, I don't really care so much about the video as much as the sharing that the girls are using the TikTok to talk about their holsters, and there's different kinds of girls doing their different things. I've also used that as an opportunity to go over and get this thing off of my printer. So sometimes I print good and sometimes I don't print good. So if we try to get back to here we go. Move this thing over like this. I attempted to get my printer up and running again. And what happened was, can't get this thing to focus good. Came out really bad. So if I can get this thing to focus. So I don't know what happened. I'll print another one, but well, is that not going to focus at all? Like, why would I want to focus that close in on anything? Come on. I think my lens thing is sticking or something because it shouldn't take 100 cranks to get it to... How far away do I have to be? All right, well, I think you could kind of tell there that it is out of focus. I think I'm going to take my camera apart and make this thing easier to focus. Yeah, now you can tell a little bit better. Anyway, the printer came out pretty not good. I don't know what happened here. Like, how do you explain this diagonal thing and all the snots everywhere? So I'll print another one, and either you'll get a really gross looking rare blemish. There's a slight blemish on this one. Or the other one will be nicer, but I just turned the printer on. And the other thing I printed came out fine. For whatever reason, this is the second thing I printed after not having the printer on for months. And I was kind of really testing to see if the thread would be wet. Oh, maybe that's what happened. Is this what happens when the thread gets wet? Because it's been so rainy here. I thought maybe my thread got ruined. Maybe this is what happens when the thread gets wet, and I'm just figuring it out. But I'll print again. It's printing right now. And, you know, maybe something will happen with these printed things. You know, who knows? Who knows what might happen with these printed things? All right, let's go back to the screen over here. Okay, so I think the 19th Amendment also says something about making a sandwich. Uh-oh, you get me trouble. Okay, so I think I've got all the non-sexist comments down. So now we're going to go back into my saved. We should be getting close to the end. We've been doing this for 2 hours now. Go into here. And, yep, that was that girl. So now there's, this girl here that I was just showing who does the outfit holster little thing. That's how the girls tell each other what holsters to wear now. Her parents own a gun shop. So she grew up with being in a gun range, I should say, in a gun range. So now we look at nostrils, eyeball veins, no teeth this time, just like their grody lips. The voice that counters these milk toast fuds, is that a word? Demand zero talks about assault weapons ban. The voice that counters these fuds demand zero. Be the voice that counters these fuds. Now I'm reading it. This is a horrible meme to me. Horrible meme. It's got a crink, and then it's got, I guess, an AK, but they're smashed up to each other, so you can't tell which one is which anyway. And then, I don't know what's going on, why they keep smashing faces like this. Creep me out. So, anyway, that's about all we're getting for this whole Senate concept, is these creepy, remember to be mad about this kind of memes. Are we allowed to demand? Are we allowed to expect some kind of actual campaigns at a federal level to champion our positions and not just individual self-acclaiming, whatever that's called, like just showing off their own stuff all the time? So next we get Gun Owners of America. I'm going to jump quickly over to the Gun Owners of America page so you can see how much stuff I post and don't post from each of these places. So there's the one thing from Gun Owners. This is a repost of their YouTube video. Lawsuit against the ATF making things. So here's a thing talking about their lawsuit. They endorsed the other lady from Cheney. No. Yeah, Liz Cheney, right? National Tell a Joke Day, and that was ATF as a joke or something. Release of multiple documents that torpedo the case against the key card case. And that's already 5 days ago. So they're posting once a day. Here's them on an interview on some news show, Preaching the Choir. Newsmax, I think that's talking about how they're going to be on here. They're complaining about that one guy. Here's a joke. A gun receipt with $1,000 thing. So there's something about a political thing that's at the national level. Getting mad about a police bulletin. So, what do I got to pick from Gun Owners America? This is what I got this week. 5-step action plan to abolish the ATF. And I guess this is because they posted a video about Antonia from like a long time ago, last month. And they're complaining because back then, so maybe it took time to create the video. Like it took time to produce that or something with this awesome combined multimedia approach with this little slideshow from Instagram with one thing with words and a tiny little logo. I don't know. So this is like, I don't know what the hell this is for. I guess to reinforce the points of that video from earlier, to get it out on multiple platforms, I guess. I don't know, $16 million. Come on, man. I expect a little bit more out of these organizations than a meme or two, a video. I mean, there's YouTubers that make more videos than this. Oh, shit. I can't play that song either. So this thing came from somewhere in China, I guess. Korea. I don't know what those words are. Wherever they eat corn. And look at this. How cool is that? So this is taking some sort of a sandbag type of bag. You could do this with sticks, I bet. And then it just twists up the end of the bag, kind of like a tourniquet, like a windlass. Shove that in there. Very useful. I like it. So that's the kind of stuff I find useful on Instagram. Most of the time, this is the kind of stuff I'm looking for. Just little stupid shit like that makes your life easier somewhere. This is also pretty awesome. So, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, this is the kind of stuff you'd play around with. When's the last time you played around with this kind of stuff? Unless you're out there tracking or glassing, you're probably not playing around with that kind of stuff. One of the people I follow, I guess, on YouTube or on Instagram is this guy that's always constantly looking at Soviet stuff. He might work for Fuller. I'm not sure. But he's also constantly looking at interesting Soviet stuff. And in this case, Soviet ammo, or at least some pieces of Soviet BMG 12.7 or whatever it is. And then I don't know what this stuff is. I think that's a 50. And then some other stuff. So maybe some sniper stuff from Russia. But this is obviously in some museum. Oh, snap. That is a 50. It's one of those clear 50s. Son of a bitch. Russia has one of those things, and I don't even have one yet. That's annoying. I didn't see that the first time I seen it. Now I'm frustrated. So how cool is this? This is, I'm guessing, in Mexico. And this is somebody didn't take off their Taurus and went into an MRI, and it takes 4 dudes and a big rope to pull that Taurus off of the MRI machine. So Tauruses are so awesome. And it smashed the side of that magnet, it looks like. This says Brazilians. I don't know. I can't tell because I can't read what it says. Then we get this from Mom at Arms. How many times do we read gun articles or see news segments on gun violence where the officials and authorities say these are senseless crimes, only for gun control organizations to follow up and push their common sense gun laws narrative? But how do you promote common sense onto those who lack it or are senseless? So they say that these are senseless crimes, so we need more common sense laws. I don't usually like things written on American flag because it disgusts me, but I thought that was a pretty interesting statement. So I'm going to unlike it because it's written on American flag and that disgusts me, but it's an interesting sentiment. I haven't heard that one in a while, or haven't heard it before, maybe. And then this one I thought was funny because of MPX. So California officials refer to the monkeypox as MPX now, and there's a SIG MPX. So that means that everybody has an MPX. You can make fun of them because it's monkeypox now. There you go. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened on Instagram. I look at a bunch of stuff, and this was the most 2A stuff that there was. And I try to throw a little bit of interesting things out there since I know I'm going to be talking about it. So if you follow stuff on the Instagram and you think, oh, you know what, that would be good to be included in this show, feel free to tag me on it or whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to include everything I see, but the whole point here is to share the stuff that's valid, share the stuff that's interesting, and to share those perspectives and those points. Is that Ghost Dog? I'm assuming that's Ghost Dog. I think that's a girl dog. There's the Cody Firearms Experience. Now I'm just scrolling down the live Instagram feed. seeing what's out there. So you've got girls just posting their backyard shooting adventures. There's Gabby Franco probably doing some training, more than likely. Medal of Honor Museum is doing good work. They're breaking ground at the moment. Somebody that just posts gun pictures all the time. Pincus. I don't know why I follow Pincus for. Capital is a shop in Texas. It's a pretty fun shop to follow. Jared, right? Yeah. This dude is a trainer out of California. I'm about to stop posting. Sometimes it's inspirational and he works with Ed Manifesto and other people that are good. And sometimes his posts are good, but he also posts a lot of people getting kicked in the face. I don't like that kind of shit. Some of the girls showing off their ways that they carry around their stuff. Girls like to show each other their holsters all the time. M13 is this gunsmith up in Vegas and showing off a manual that his great-great-grandfather got for the Civil War. And it says that they would hand these out to the people that could read to teach everybody else what to do. And it would have information how to keep yourself clean, ready to fight with maintenance of your rifle. So pretty interesting. There's San Diego gun owners. They're probably live a little bit later. Actually, I should shut up and quit doing this because we'll end this over on Instagram. Our goal is to smear Instagram all over YouTube because Instagram is smaller than YouTube, and the good stuff that happens on Instagram is worth talking about. So I smeared over here on YouTube. Am I breaking up? Because it looks like my internet's dying right now. But I did do this bad Wolverine patch in 3D print. I wonder if it is because of the water in the print. I guess I'll know in this next print. It could just be a bad design or something. But now that I'm looking at it, it is pretty bad. I just pulled it off of the printer during the last break there, or the last time I showed some video. All right, so next we will go over to the section of my saved areas where we do the giveaway, because a little while back, we posted the deal about this week on Instagram. So what is it? Is that what I posted? Ask gun questions? Dang it. Ask gun cues. I posted the wrong one. It should have been the Instagram one, but we'll go with ask gun cues. We've got 5 entries. So for those of you that don't know what's going on, here's how it works. You put in a hashtag and you put in ask gun cues. And then when you do that, it'll get integrated into the internet, and then this little page over here will look at the entire internet and figure out how many people wrote ask gun cues in this text. It'll add them up here, and then when I click this button, it'll turn into a random giveaway. Let's go back over to the poll, give people who are voting last minute or entering last minute a chance to do so. We'll take a look at the poll. We have 21 votes over there, so thanks everybody for who showed up today to vote. 24% say Instagram was better than YouTube. And then 29% Instagram was as good as YouTube. And then 14% say Instagram was worse than YouTube. This week went by quick. I think Instagram was worse than YouTube this week, personally. So I'm going to go with the 14% of people that said it was worse, because neither one was that good this week. I really think we dropped the ball in a couple of things, and we are too easy to sit back and relax just because they're not annoying us. You know when the redefinition of receivers is happening? Barely got 2 posts that I'm aware of mentioning that it comes up on the 24th. Barely 2 posts mentioning lawsuits that are against it. I think we can be doing a lot bigger. We have a lot more opportunity here. We have a lot bigger potential to get upset and to make our dissatisfaction known. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? We can't expect the antis who are against us to just decide to be with us. We have to plead our case. That's education. That's awareness. I'm going to jump back to the DC project. Those ladies know it. They do it. They're going to DC in September. I can't think of a more effective way to support 2A right now in 2022 in August than to support those ladies. I want to thank our Patreons. Those are the people that support us. Let us talk about that. And I guess that's the end of the poll. So I'll take the answers to that poll. This is also giving people more time to enter the giveaway over there. I'm going to edit the video that you're in right now. Does anyone else do this? No one else has the balls to edit the video you're in while you're in it. And then I'm going to drop the results of the poll right here for everybody to see it. I don't screw around. I don't hide the results of my poll like some chats will delete the parts of their chat that have the poll in it. That's not the way we run. That's not the way we roll here. So I'm going to delete that, move this over to here, and put that, and then I'm saving it. We're putting it up there. We don't care. All right, now we're going back over to the video. Let's see if anybody else entered. We did get one person was able to enter in that amount of time we wasted letting them enter. So now we're going to close that. Going to hit pause there. And if everybody's ready, the countdown. You're going to have the option of getting this one that I've got in my hand right now that's gross, or the one that's being printed that'll take another hour to print. So either the one that's 100% gross or the one that might also be gross, but it might be better. You'll get your pick. It's done printing. I'll turn both of these into Velcro patches, and one of them will go out to, oh, Gizzard just got up in here, to one of the 7 people that's about to get picked in this weekly giveaway. So we don't do this every week. I do this whenever I remember to do it, and, well, pretty much when I remember to do it. And it's only for the people that are here live. So if you're listening to this in the future and you're like, how do I get in on this? How did I miss out on such an awesome opportunity? It's because of the clock. You got to look at that clock. You got to be here on Sundays for when we do this. I'm going to take just another moment to make sure if I'm running into some radio shows right now. So I'm jumping over to the YouTube. I'm going to click on my subscriptions. I can already see that I'm running into a radio show right now. So now I'm clicking on my subscriptions. We've got Eye on the Target Radio live right now. Eye on the Target Radio is Amanda Suffolk and her brother, Rob, and they do a radio show each weekend. It's live. It's recording right now, and they're actually recording. So whenever the radio commercial goes on, okay, I just picked around at this thing, and I shouldn't have because now there's a bunch of black on here. So they're live while we're chatting right now, and that means that when their commercials come on, you're going to have to sit there through their commercials. However, they do pay attention to the YouTube, and they often incorporate the YouTube comments and stuff into their conversations, and that's pretty cool for a radio show, especially one that's actually happening live. That'll last for 2 hours. At the same time, Come and Talk It is another radio show that is live out of Austin, Texas. One of 2 radio shows that I know of that a gun shop owner also does their own radio show. And Mike, in addition to that, Mike Cargill runs that show, and the gun shop there is taking the government to court over the bump stocks. What? Yeah. And you could be listening to him live. He'll be going live with his crew in moments. Both of these shows give you no opportunity to get ready for them. They just go live. Their show launches and they go live. They don't give you any opportunity. Like decent people that know how to live stream, some of us will put our shows up a week ahead of time. So you know it's coming. You can find the room, get there, share it with other people. Some people, even though they got giant, huge industrial budgets behind them, don't have the decency to post their stuff early. So that's what we're dealing with here. Eye on the Target is just now going live. Come and Talk It will be live in a moment. And it looks like Locked and Loaded Latinos will be live in an hour from now. And that means that Gun Owners Radio will be live out of California in 2 hours. They come live as soon as the other 2 radio stations end. So I run this show to talk about Instagram. We run this right up into 2 live radio shows. And then there's 2 other live, awesome 2A opportunities this afternoon. We have 8 entries. Thanks everybody for joining in live. I'm clicking the button. At this point, it's up for grabs. No one knows who's going to win. It could be anybody winning at this point. No one has ever zoomed in while they were spinning. I'm the only one that's ever done. Kingpin won. Did that just happen? Kingpin wins. Hold on. Let me see if I can't get a guest host to this show real quick. Hold on. All right. Unusually, we normally don't have the opportunity to have guests in-house, but this week, if I can get that thing to unclick there, we do have Kingpin here with us today. Oh, I guess I don't have that up there. So there's Kingpin. Congratulations. Oh, I guess you have a different collar on here today. I don't know why I went and got that, because it turns out it's super dirty. When you don't look at a bowling pin forever, it gets super dirty out there. All right, so yeah, now he gets to decide if he wants this fancy first run patch that's all sloppy, or the unknown, the one that's still printing right now. And there's no way to know if it's going to come out good or bad. So I don't know. I think I might have Kingpin's address or whatever, but send me an email or something so that I can get that. But yeah, Kingpin, quote unquote, randomly won the giveaway. So thanks for tuning in. And if you're not familiar with Kingpin, he's unknown. Oh, you want the next one? The one that is not yet made? Understood. So Kingpin is often a guest on lots of different shows out there in the comments and sometimes even on the panels. So thanks again for joining us today. I'm going to end this, quit saying thanks, so that you can go watch some of these radio shows that happen. And we'll be back tomorrow with, oh, snap. I guess I have not yet scheduled guests for tomorrow. I thought about a couple of different people for tomorrow. I asked for some suggestions, and Kingpin was one of the people that was requested. So I don't know if Kingpin's got time in the late nights tomorrow or not. Usually he's not awake for that show, but I'll chat with him. Otherwise, we'll have someone on tomorrow for our Motivation Monday. And then each day of the week, we go live at midnight Eastern in order to keep a focus on what our Second Amendment protects. And thanks to Kingpin, Krabby Turtle, to Gizzard, who just got done with a 4-hour live conversation, Foss, who does live conversations all the time, Ron, hanging out in Kentucky, lording it over everybody that he lives where there's green, Mike, and is that everybody? If I'm missing somebody, then you didn't say stuff. So how am I supposed to click on you if you didn't say stuff? And then Smeggy and Mark. And maybe that's everybody. All right, well, thanks again for the people that show up live. Cancer Mouse, there we go. Thanks again to the people that show up live, and keep saying I'm going to quit saying goodbye. We're going to now say quit saying that I'm going to quit saying it, and now I'll actually quit saying it. Hey, did you know that you could help support our future projects and let everyone know you're a fan of what we do? Check out our print-on-demand store. We have a tab here on YouTube. When you click on it, you can choose from a bunch of different items. We have shirts and posters and coffee mugs. Click on the one you like. When you find the design you want to put on it, choose a color and a size if it's appropriate. And when you purchase these items, a portion goes to help fund our future projects. We really do appreciate your support. You get some cool stuff. When you get that stuff, post pictures here and on other platforms, and we'll hook you up next time you order from our Gear website store. Thank you for your support of gunwebsites.com.
Tonight's episode, Triangle of Terror.
Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals at gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com. Do 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 do.